Hey guys, so you know that if you've been following along for any length of time, we've done about 500 miles on our Catalina 30 so far. I'm sure you've noticed all of that has been by hand. Well, I tell you what, following the magenta line by hand stops today. So, one thing that we knew we needed to do pretty much as soon as we bought the boat and started moving is invest in a sound and solid autopilot. And today, we're going to unbox the Raymarine Evolution 100 autopilot. And we're going to walk through the install and everything in this video. But for now, we're going to start with the unboxing and show you what comes in this kit. I got really lucky. Defender had a great sale going on. This is March 2024. Defender had a fantastic sale going on and some Raymarine rebates that ended up scoring us this full and complete kit for under $1,200, which is an incredible deal considering this on normally runs anywhere between $1,300 and $1,700, and other solutions go much higher. So that's fantastic. So let's unbox this. I'll show you what's included. So first and foremost, I would say this box came from Defender in a much bigger box with a little bit of packing paper in it. Overall, it feels very sturdy. I'm not worried about the box itself or how it came, so it looks like it fared well through the shipping process. It came through UPS. Wow, okay, so there is actually a lot of stuff in this box. Make sure we get this unfolded. Right off the top, everything's kind of neatly packed in here so nothing can move. We will start with the... Oh, actually, where do we want to start? Because actually, let's start right here. So, so the Nemo 2000, or the Raymarine version of that, I think it's Sea Talk. Yeah, Sea Talk, it's basically the same thing. Network backbone is here, so all this connects into this, and then this then connect into your Nemo 2000 network if you want it to via an adapter cable, which I actually still need to purchase. But here's all your wiring for connecting everything, and a couple extra. Yeah, I mean it even includes your terminators and everything, so that's pretty awesome. We'll start with the small box first, which is actually the what I consider the fun part here. That's the P70S. This is the control head. This is what you're going to be mounting at your pedestal or anywhere out in your cockpit. This is what's going to control your autopilot itself. This is how you're going to tell it to navigate to what source or what heading, and control it. So, very well packaged. Again, I don't know if we really need to completely dig into this whole thing here. Well, why not? Let's do it. So here's the screen, and again, it comes with a Raymarine cover, so protect it. You can uncover it, and there she is. That's your control head. Again, this will mount. This is how you're going to manipulate the autopilot here. Buttons are very rubberized, but they feel very protected, so I'm not worried about any water or anything getting in there. And then included in it is some templates, the housing for it, a couple other items, things like that, to help connect this and get it up and running. So everything you need right here in this box. The next stop we'll make here is the, this is probably going to be the compass if I were to hazard a guess. It is. This is going to be your compass. This is actually what you're going to mount inside your boat, so the autopilot knows which direction you're going. It's actually not substantial. I thought this was going to be more than it is, but it's really light. But really, this is a compass that's going to then talk back to your control head, so it knows which direction it's pointed, and it knows which direction it needs to navigate whenever you direct it to. I'm going to try to put this stuff back in here. Got that. So as part of this kit also becomes the Evolution Autopilot. This is the actual the actuating control unit. This is essentially the brain, and this is what everything kind of connects to bring it all together. You again mount this inside your boat, and this is what is basically the computer of the whole autopilot system. This is going to talk. This is going to take input from your control head and your compass, and do all the math magicianals that it needs to
do. You're okay, baby. We're almost done.
And then finally, and this is pretty substantial, pretty heavy. There must be a bunch of stuff in here. This has to be by process of elimination. Basically the part that's going to mount to the wheel. It is. So, it comes with a bunch of instructions, obviously, and your warranty cards, all that jazz. We need to obviously register that. And then right here on the very top is your control wheel. So this is what's going to mount to the wheel on our helm on the boat, and this is what's going to actually command the rudder to move in the direction that you target the autopilot. So it's pretty slick. That's actually way beefier than I thought it was. That motor's got some weight to it. I was a little worried. So these autopilots, I think, are meant to be put on boats that are under 15,000 pounds, and like 35 feet, 40 feet-ish, something like that. We don't run into any of that issue, but I was just curious how sturdy this would be in comparison to maybe some of the other solutions that are out there, like the CPT and things like that. But this feels really sturdy. Also in here, I'm sure is going to be a ton of mounting hardware and things like that, because this is going to obviously go out again on the wheel, and we'll have to drill some holes into this and put some brackets behind it to actually get it mounted up. So, but yeah, really not a ton in here. Well, there is a lot in here, but it's packaged well and not in a disorganized way. You pretty much have things in segments of how you'll need to install it. So that's the unboxing experience of the Raymarine Evolution 100. Now let's actually go ahead and start installing this autopilot on our Catalina 30.
Today,
we finished the unboxing and came right out here and just started. It got to work. So the autopilot wheel itself is now mounted to our wheel. The only thing I would say that was those 2 points of this that were a little tricky, and I forgive the wind noise, is the holes here didn't line up with our spokes. We have a 6-spoke wheel. This, even though it was supposed to line up with a 6-spoke, didn't quite. I had to drill out 2 others. And then getting the support mounting bracket, if Lisa can kind of get over this way. This here, we had to cut this down quite a bit, and again, doing things with the right tools matters, and we had to whip out the Dremel for that, and a 2-person operation. It about took a finger off, but we're good to go. So what I would argue is the easy part.
You still have all fingers. What are you talking about?
What I would argue is the easy part. It's already wrapped up, and honestly, I mean, I don't know if this is the easy part, but that was not that complicated. Anybody could do this. So we are a third of the way to having an autopilot. That's exciting.
Just remember, fingers grow back.
Perfect, thank you.
One eternity later.
So fast forward here about a month or so, and the autopilot's been installed and working well. I didn't catch any other clips of putting in from a wiring perspective or what that looks like. To be honest with you, your boat's going to be different than ours, and where you decide to mount the compass and the control unit and how that wiring is managed. I will say that we ran it right off our Navcom circuit, so it was really straightforward in that regard. The wiring was not that complicated. It's a little messy to keep contained, especially in smaller areas, but that's boat life in general. In terms of the performance and how well the autopilot has worked, I don't know how I piloted this boat or moved this boat without an autopilot. It has performed flawlessly based on the things that it can control. I have an instance where we have a little bit of an issue with the switch on the back of the wire on the back of the switch panels coming loose. That has nothing to do with the autopilot. The autopilot itself has performed perfectly. I've not had a disconnect once. I've not had any type of runaway or inability to control. As a matter of fact, I've been in some of the worst sea states that I could ever think I'd want to be in this boat with that autopilot here recently. And I credit that autopilot with keeping us relatively unharmed during that wild night that I'm sure I'll be talking about in the next video or so. So overall, the Raymarine EV100, perfect autopilot for what we're using it for on a 30-foot Catalina. I would probably, to venture, say you could probably use this on a 36, definitely on a 34. I think beyond that, you probably want to go hydraulic drive. But overall, it's been a fantastic addition to the boat, and man, I don't know what we did without it. So if you like that video or liked our other videos, or you're just kind of getting caught up here, don't hesitate to comment, like, subscribe, do all the things, drive that engagement. We'd love to have you stick around. Tons of more content down the pipe as we continue to move forward in this adventure. Until next time.